Hi, Scott Orlin with Cinema-Magazine. There is an incredibly entertaining new show coming your way. It is called Julie and the Phantoms. And I am here with one of those phantoms, Charlie Gillespie. Charlie, I've done a lot of interviews with actors over the years, and especially when they're about to do a military movie, they are sent to boot camp. So in one month, they can learn to have the skill set necessary to look like they are in the military. I understand that Kenny Ortega sent you to band boot camp. What was that experience like?
Well, exactly like you said, band military boot camp. Well, we can take the word military out and just call it band boot camp because there was no waking up with a pan smashing and no codes or anything, but it was fun, man. We basically we started at SIR, moved up to other studios up in Burbank, but we had voice coaches, we had dance coaches, we had guitar instructors, piano instructors, drum instructors, and a book of songs for season 1 that we were having to prepare for. And so that's all we did. Sadly, I was on voice rest for the first 2 weeks. Because we received the songs in advance, so I totally blew out my voice. And I show up and I'm talking like this. And then Kenny's like, no more talking. So he gives me a notepad or whatever. And so for 2 weeks, I had to just write down everything I wanted to say. It was a great introduction to the show. But like you said, the camp lasted a month and a half. So I ended up, still being able to really participate in it. But it was really fun. So many people admire Kenny for not just his musical work, but his dance work as well, right? My sister included with Dirty Dancing. She's obsessed, but it's so being able to do a camp with that as well, and it was insane. I was not a dancer before this. I pick up a couple of moves or whatever, you spin people around, do that kind of stuff there. But no, now I got a few more moves in my back pocket.
You had a skill set though. You actually played guitar and sang before that. So I know Kenny was very emphatic that he wasn't just going to hire actors for this, and you had to be triple threats. So how much did your prior experience give you a sense of securedness when you started filming?
I guess, yeah. Well, I mean, a lot. Like you said, Kenny wanted some people who actually played the instruments, who actually were gonna sing, and who were gonna dance. And so for me, I used to play, I played guitar my whole life, but usually just acoustic guitar around a bonfire or, jamming out with my siblings and stuff. And then, so I had a few songs in my back pocket for the audition when I came in, but, I don't think you could be prepared for what Kenny was about to throw at us anyways. It's we're working with these A-class instructors, and we're still working with them today. And it's just I've learned so much more about this guitar than I ever could have imagined. It's more than just an instrument. It's the French word, c'est I don't know the word in English, but it's there's math behind it and all this kind of stuff. So no, I was prepared as I could have been, for the auditions, but then, they really boosted it up.
In the show, these 4 guys have formed this band and they're waiting for their first break. And I'm curious about your own musical influences. Who were the bands that you admired? Who were the musicians that kind of maybe carried a little something through you?
Well, so I'm a big country guy, but I'm also a big blues guy. So you'll find I love John Mayer. He is one of my idols, 100%. But then I also love bands that have really strong harmonies as well. And so Zach Brown Band, Mumford and Sons, I find, which actually really transcended pretty nicely with Julie and the Phantoms, because that's, I think, one of our strongest things, our harmonies. Everybody can really sing. So it's a few of our music producers really created these cool harmonies that clash against each other, but when you have 4 of them together, it just makes this massive complete sound. One of our producers, Alana, she also did Pitch Perfect. And so you have like, you know, like 20 people singing together, right? And so you have to figure out how are these people all going to actually like harmonize together. And so for a few of our songs, you know, you're doing these wicked harmonies. But anyways, yeah, no. So back to your question, yeah, John Mayer is probably like one of my biggest idols. I love going to see live music a lot. I think that's one of my favorite things. So I'll go see anybody. Hotel Cafe down in Hollywood. I go there usually on the weekends, and I'll just jam out to whoever's playing. They always have like great set lists.
Part of the concept of this, and I'm not giving anything away because I think it's probably fairly obvious in the trailer before people see this, is, as I said before, you guys are on the cusp of having your first big night. You go eat something you shouldn't have eaten. Things happen, and sadly, you die. 20-something years later, you kind of come back through Julie, that's opportunity with Julie. But I thought, wow, this is really an interesting examination even to talk about death, even in this type of environment. And then when I was doing research on you, you were hit by a truck or a tractor or something. I went, oh my God, so you've actually had that little brush.
Oh, I've almost died so many times, man. It's crazy. But it was run over by a tractor. It was our tractor back home there. But no, I've never died. I've never hit.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, very good thing. Thank you. But wait, was there a question?
No, I was just talking. Did it give you, even though this is very humorous in its approach and some seriousness too, about don't procrastinate too much. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That, you know, this whole thing about appreciating life for when you have it.
Yeah, I think every character realizes that at least some point in the story, where you only have one life to live, and no matter what, we always come back around to living the life that you want to live, and living life with people that you want to be living it with. You know, I've said this a couple of times, but it's just, I feel like the main core of our story is how you find family within your friends, you know, and not just family, like, because sometimes you either lose your family in, you know, maybe a tragic way or maybe a social way. But in our story, it's like sad. We were just kind of brought up with Julie, and everything starts to click.
There's a very poignant episode where I think it's your birthday, and I don't want to, again, I'm being very careful about how I navigate, but it was about how your parents sometimes didn't necessarily want a trajectory for you, and you kind of go out on your own, and you have to find your own footing and where you go. So I was wondering, because you have several siblings, and you know about where your parents were, how excited or involved or encouraging were they when you said, "Hey, Mom, Dad, I think I want to pursue a career as an actor"?
Well, we have a big family that's been in the arts for a while. My mom and dad have always pushed us into music lessons and theater and in sports and just like very social activities. And they were pretty excited. I mean, when I got up to, I ended up preparing my courses in advance in high school to graduate a little earlier so I could move up to Toronto and start trying to act. And you know, they've always been some really nice support for me throughout the entire process. So not as much of my character, but as Charlie, I'm really blessed, you know, with my experience with my parents going through that.
You mentioned Kenny Ortega before. He kind of had success a few years back with High School Musical and took another young actor who became Zac Efron. This could be an opportunity like that for you. Are you prepared for it? Is that an exciting prospect?
I think you take everything, you know, just one step by step. You know, you never. I think you can prepare for things, but I don't know. I mean, yes. Well, Zach and Kenny and High School Musical, that was a beast. Like that. Oh, I remember I remember the day High School Musical was playing on my TV, like it was yesterday, and it's crazy how much time has happened since then, but also how much growth all the characters within High School Musical have come and gone and done their things. But I don't know, man. I think I'm really happy that for what I'm doing and happy for the road that I'm on. So I'm just hoping that I just stay that way.
Well, that's a great attribute. But I think my last question for you is, as important as this creative road is on for you, I think it's important as well for us to kind of have something else in our life that is interesting or a passion. And I'm going to mispronounce it, but mehr Nostrum? So what is that for you, and why was it important for you to get involved with?
Well, it's my cousin who started it a while back, and I've wanted to be a part of it for a while, but it's there's something sad that happened with the sharks. It's like, I find they're a very like misrepresented animal. And so what my cousin is out doing in Ecuador and in the Galapagos is really, he's trying to eliminate the most of fin cutting that he can do, just because there's a lot of ships, because like there's fin stew and these kind of recipes, but all that you do is you take the fin and you leave the animal. And so we're just trying to create boundaries. And I think everybody's voice on the planet should be to always help somebody who maybe doesn't have a voice or who can't speak up for themselves. And sea animals are insanely misrepresented. We know more about space than we know in the ocean. That blows me away, because we're here right now, and there's so much going on in the ocean, and there's so much health, and there's so many resources that could benefit everybody, but we're just tearing them apart. So I think I'm a part of it because I want to help with the most that I can. And my cousin's a really great mentor and a really great leading example. So I'm pretty happy that I'm lucky that way to have somebody that's helping me with it and helping him too,
That's great. Maybe somebody who's watching now will become inspired and want to help out too. So
it'd be fun.
Charlie, the show is called Julie and the Phantoms. Charlie Gillespie, and this is Scott Orlin. Till next time.
Thanks, brother.